This is the guy from Pittsburgh, and that's Art Bell, his book, Art of Talk. So, if you've never read it, go get a copy. Go get it. The Quickening, The Source, The Coming Global Superstorm. Read them all. Art, time to start on a new book. You got 2 years. And I'm suggesting something to you tonight, Art. You should come out, the Art Bell Cookbook. Call it the Art Bell Dark Matter Network and Bellgab Cookbook. I'm willing to put a couple pages in there. Falky's favorite flavors, because that's my name on two forums. But always remember, Art Bell, free Art Bell. I got the book. I got all those other books. And tonight I'm going to say Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Hanukkah. And I want to extend that to George Noory, who sent me a nice email, which surprised the hell out of me. And George Noory, I want to be a guest in your show. Now, I won't talk long. I don't have the skills of Art Bell. I probably don't even have your skills, such as they are. But I want to go on there to ask you some questions about the way you broadcast, about the way you say things that are verbal flubs, and why you haven't improved over 10 years of broadcasting. Because you keep saying that people on Bellgab, high Bellgabbers, are haters. We don't hate you, George. We just want you to get better because the program has been going like for 10 years. And only the sycophantic who think you're doing a wonderful job get on there. That sycophantic callers and guests, when the rest of it think, get up and turn the radio off because we can't take it anymore. I think he'd be a likable guy over dinner at a convention. He'd be a likable guy drinking beers with. But something happens to you, George, when you get on that microphone. You go, this is George Noory, and welcome to Coast to Coast. It's like you drink some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde stuff, and you turn into some crazed loon that talks about asteroids having brains, and last night you talked about the weather, and the weather is incredible. The weather's the weather, George, unless you have some extraordinary thing like a 250-mile-an-hour typhoon or something hitting the Philippines, or a superstorm, which the scientific experts all poo-pooed that we would have more and more superstorms when the other book came out that's on my shelf, The Coming Global Superstorm. And Art and Whitney Strieber need to get on that too and make a second edition of that, a new edition, because the weather sure as hell has been quickening in 10 years, ain't it? And since that book came out, since the movie came out. You know, I heard yesterday on Coast, or the day before, that some guy was claiming that we're headed for 10,000 years of a new ice age. Well, it's going to be like 36 here on Monday where I live. Let's see what it is right now. That's going to cover up the screen. Oh, God. Well, that was a mistake. But it's getting colder every night because winter is coming. A week ago, you had snow in Minnesota. So, wait a minute. I can look it up on my iPhone. That was kind of stupid. Okay, let's see. Weather. Hold on, bear with me for a minute with my glasses again. I'm so glad I get new glasses next week. Right now it's 43 degrees. Oh my goodness. Monday, 34, and Tuesday it will be freezing. I feel sorry for the kiddies and the homeless out there. It will be 32 degrees here where I live. 30 miles from San Francisco. But to get back to what I was saying, George, I'd like to be a call-in guest on your show and ask you some basic questions. What among them, what exactly is your show prep? Why do you not think before you say stuff? God knows I'm guilty of it. I'm not perfect. By the way, that's my cat in the hat. I keep pointing to the wrong one because I see him on the screen and he's reversed. That's my cat in the hat, Christmas stocking. This is my kitty cat Christmas stocking. And unlike some Jews who don't like Christmas lights, Christmas carols, I like all that stuff because it's cute, it's fun. So if you don't like that, get over it. And so I'd like to know why you don't think what you're saying, why you say things like asteroids have brains, the weather's incredible, other stuff. Why you aren't improving, George? And I'd like to actually have you come out one night and tell us precisely how many listeners you really have. Not only on your radio show, on terrestrial radio, down here, but how many listeners you really have on Sirius XM up there. And maybe, since you probably got a little bit of an in with Sirius, since they put you back after taking everything off of Premiere a week before, or 2 weeks before, whatever the hell it was, maybe you can talk to one of the suits there and say, it'd be a good thing if maybe Art Bell could come back on, if not on this channel, another channel. Not competing with me, but, it'd be fair because I got a legacy here, and I think it would be right to have Art Bell back on Sirius. So you could say, free Art Bell, George, which we should be freeing Art Bell because he's out in Pahrump starting that great paranormal podcast network and biding time. In fact, I understand even the bunnies in his garden are getting ready to picket Sirius XM, and they're going to be rounding up all the bunnies, not only here, but all those millions of bunnies in Australia. Of course, it will take them a while to get here because, being Australia, they all go in counterclockwise. But I'm sure Jazmunda, will manage to round them all up and send them straight to Washington and New York to picket Sirius in time for their annual meeting. And they'll do it in a proper Australian accent. I can't do the accent, I'm sorry. So I try. I got to practice on that. I guess I didn't watch enough Crocodile guy, Dundee, or the other crocodile guy that got killed by a stingray. What the hell was that all about? The poor bastard is there wrestling million-pound crocodiles that are trying to eat his ass, and he gets stung by a stingray. I wouldn't be out there with no stingray. Those things, you don't know what they're going to do. They're not mean. They're probably gentle, but I thought that was a horrible thing, and his wife and kid have to run the zoo by themselves, and Bindy's program didn't cut it. She's a cute little girl, but I don't know, maybe she just didn't have the persona of her father, so I'm sorry for her too. I know she misses her daddy, and she loved him. So anyway, I'm digressing here. And I want to give our, they don't call it SAC anymore, but I want to give Norad the warning because Jazmunda will be approaching this country at any minute for a wedding in New York. And make sure that he stays within the confines of New York City because he's a dangerous, tastier Australian. And we have to be careful that he does not infect the rest of us with his Australianness. We have to keep America American. And as soon as he leaves the country, make sure he doesn't come back. Just send him back. And because we know he destroyed dark matter, and I'm still waiting for him to call George Noory so he can destroy Coast to Coast, because that would be fitting. And he did call the spec sheet. It didn't kill that off yet, but maybe that's like one of those contact pills with the time release that it takes a while for everything to go kaboom. And sorry, Sarah Brestlin, for making that kaboom noise. I wouldn't want to wake you up, but it might be delayed reaction, and then the podcast will collapse completely, and the whole network will go down. And then Pahrump will look like the bankrupt golf course up there with just tumbleweeds bouncing along the ground. And all of that. So that's about it. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to football, and then, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 hours, get a little shut-eye, and then see who's on Noory tonight on his great Thanksgiving show. Oh, by the way, Noory, I do not work for free, but I will be nice and will settle for the money for a turkey sandwich from 7-Eleven and bus fare both ways, because the nearest 7-Eleven to here is 3 miles. I had to think from it. I walked it one night when I missed the bus from Bart. 8 miles home, took me 5.5 hours. People act like some people have said I look like one guy when I commented on the bridge too far, and the British at Arnhem. They didn't get the support they needed. They didn't. The British Army stopped for tea, and I got criticized for criticizing Montgomery, but I think I'm absolutely right. Said, you don't look like you ever walked anywhere in your life. Well, last night, for your information, Monty fandom, I walked 3 miles home from Safeway with my groceries. So, yeah, I did walk, and I do walk. The only problem is, when you don't walk for a while, you start hurting. And that's one of the dangers of having a car. All you do is run around the car and you never get any exercise. I'm sorry for itching my ears, itching your glasses. I got to get a haircut tomorrow. Anyway, have a great evening, and I hope George Noory listened to this and will give me a shout out, an email, and say, yeah, we'd like to have you call the show, because I'd sure like to lay to rest these complaints that he's had that Bellgabbers are mean and we're not nice to him, and Sarah, parody reporter Brestlin, I guess any minute she's going to be going to want to get one of those press hats from the front page, or the old Steve Allen hat with a little press card in the brim. She thinks we're mean too. We're not mean. We're vaguely mean. But we can be Mega Roswell's mean when we want to, and we are. But we don't allow anybody to attack one of our own like you attacked MV, Sarah. So, have a great day. Enjoy the football. Enjoy your turkey or ham or roast beef or pork shoulder or lamb, whatever you're going to get. And or vegetarian, although I draw the line at tofu turkey. Although I expect that's going to be some new show on Cartoon Network any day, but they got some weird stuff on that network. Have a great day. Enjoy your family, and I hope if you don't have family that you're with someone you really care for, and have a nice dinner and can enjoy the holiday. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.